Welcome back to the home of layered storytelling, the only corner of the internet where we slip past the blinding flash and step into the quiet room where real feelings live. This is Secrets Behind the Stars. In the clatter of celebrity culture, we are trained to watch for wreckage. We scour for the blow-ups, the disappearing photos, the cryptic captions, the sudden unfollows, the finger-pointing that turns love into spectacle. But what if the most resonant message is delivered without a single line spoken? What if a breakup is not a collapse, but a graceful rebuild? For weeks, the rumor mill has been a restless engine, chasing the shadows of a narrative that refused to announce itself. Two of the most examined names in Turkey's entertainment sphere, Halil Ibrahim Ceyhan and Sila Turkoglu, stood at the center of it, silent as stone. The whispers asked, again and again, is the love story over? Today, with careful attention to signs rather than shouts, we can say the romantic chapter has closed. If you think the story ends there, you are missing the point. This isn't a tale about scorched earth. It's about two people choosing to redefine the goodbye. It's about a woman who reclaimed her voice through moments of brightness, and a man who safeguarded his privacy as if it were sacred currency. Today on Secrets Behind the Stars, we decode their silence. We read the visual language of Sila's recent posts, the uncompromising composure of Halil, and the unusual new shape of what remains between them. Before we step into this calm revolution, let me ask you, is silence indifference, or the truest sign of respect? Can two people end a romance without tearing each other to pieces? If you value thoughtful, compassionate readings of the stars you care about, make sure you're subscribed to Secrets Behind the Stars. And if you're someone who wants to see how our work comes to life and support independent voices, that join button is right below. Your support helps us keep asking the hard questions. Now, let's lean in and listen to the sound of a dignified farewell. To understand the separation, we have to revisit the connection. From the outset, the dynamic between Halil Ibrahim Ceyhan and Sila Turkoglu felt like a study in balance through opposition. Halil, methodical to the bone, ran his days by call sheets, gym sessions, and the unblinking gaze of international fans. Sila, luminous and instinctive, navigated a world of scripts and character work, but carried a free-spirited warmth that spilled into her friendships and off-duty hours. The press called it an unexpected harmony. There were no choreographed strolls down carpeted aisles designed to promote a project, no polished pairs interviews where they spoke and mirrored thoughts. If anything, their closeness lived in the rare spaces between their parallel lives, a shared coffee before dawn, a quick laugh in a quiet corridor, a weekend hour that somehow stretched into memory. It was a love story written between lines. Perhaps that's why the way this romance concluded feels like an echo of how it began, discreet, careful, and real. The goodbye arrived on soft feet. No arguments found their way to tabloids, no unnamed sources sprayed venom through late-night tip lines. The unfurling was patient, a gentle separating of threads. Gossip pages struggled with the absence of theatrics. Was this a pause or a parting? The clearest reading is the simplest one. It was a breakup, so mature it almost doesn't look like a breakup to a culture addicted to noise. With no official statements, the audience turned its eyes to the images that are now the lingua franca of celebrity, the grid. In that gallery of squares, Sila Turkoglu began speaking in color and light. The world waited for a revenge dress, a shattered heart caption, a moody lyric meant to wound. She didn't give them the narrative they expected. She crafted a visual statement of calm. We saw a theme park, whispers say violin, bathed in winter sun, its colors refusing to dull. There were frames of children pressed against the glass blue world of an aquarium, sea life Istanbul, perhaps, faces lifted toward the slow ballet of marine life. There was the fizz of laughter caught in short clips, as if joy itself had wandered into the frame and stayed. Even in photos where she didn't appear, you could feel her, the composition, the timing, a signature hidden in plain sight. Despite the cold season, the palette stayed warm and honeyed. These weren't the archives of a broken heart. These were the scenes of a woman choosing joy with intention. The message, unsaid yet undeniable. Life is still happening, and her approach to it has evolved. Not the denial of hurt, but a refusal to let it ossify into identity. Inside that quiet album, another theme took shape: the practice of care, the soft discipline of nurture. But it was not the old narrative that traps women in public life, the sainted, self-erasing figure. What emerged was modern, thoughtful, and self-possessed. Sila showcased pockets of time with a little one in her orbit, niece, cousin, godchild. Guiding her through exhibits that spark curiosity, letting tiny hands meet the textures of nature, nudging wonder into the everyday. It was a deliberate, steady unmaking of labels that had followed her like stubborn shadows, too carefree, too untethered, a woman of whims. Without drafting a single defensive paragraph, she dismantled the caricature. Freedom does not cancel responsibility, it makes space for it. By focusing the lens on innocence and on the stability of bonds, she muted the gossip without acknowledging it. No manifesto was needed, the days themselves were the statement. It was a masterclass in authorship, writing your own script by living it in public, gently. Her recalibration raises a wider question about the way we read women on stage and off. To the secrets behind the stars community. Is social media the sharpest tool a celebrity has to reclaim identity after a breakup, or is true strength found in total withdrawal? While you mull that over, tap like. Those clicks tell the algorithm that depth matters. And if you want to push this kind of storytelling forward, hit join. Members receive badges and priority replies, and you help keep this work independent. Your support fuels secrets behind the stars. One detail in Sila's recent posts caught the attention of those who watch closely: a kitten. A British shorthair, round-eyed and plush, padding into frame like a living exhale. To the casual viewer, a pet is adorable and nothing more. But to those fluent in celebrity symbolism, a new animal in the home is not trivial. It signals a return to routine, to rootedness. In the aftermath of a parting, choosing a creature that needs gentleness and schedule is a quiet vow: I'm building a safe place. The soft coat of that kitten hid a manifesto of its own: warmth, steadiness, a door that closes to outside chaos. A home curated by her own hand, where quiet is not emptiness but comfort. Alongside that domestic ease came a professional recentering. Sila returned to set. The comeback felt unforced, as if she had never left, only honed. She stepped into scripts with a different kind of presence, not breathless, not chasing relevance, but intentional. The message was unmistakable. She had not abandoned her art for love, nor would she abandon herself to grief. More selective now, more discerning, she seemed to choose stories that spoke directly to her, roles that were less about heat and more about truth. The public has long been tempted to define her by the men orbiting her starlight. But here she was, composing her own space, line by line. Was her time with Halil a turning point? The evidence suggests yes. Not a pivot of loss, but of learning. A refining fire that left behind steel. And Halil Ibrahim Seyhan? In the face of his former partner's serene transformation, what did the disciplined star do? He did what he does best. He kept his counsel. No veiled messages slipped through stories, no whispers trickled from anonymous friends to tame reporters, no glossy talk show confessions. He maintained a near monastic focus: work, training, craft, philanthropy. The stance, consistent and unmoved, tells its own story. It frames the ending not as a battle won or lost, but as a conclusion reached. Silence, in this case, protects the sacred without inviting intrusion. By refusing to stir the rumor pot, Halil safeguarded the dignity of what they once shared. He kept building, lines learned, body honed, charitable commitments honored, proof that his center of gravity stays firmly inside his own orbit. Then comes the whisper that refuses to die, reported not by the loudest corners of the gossip world but by the few who still care about nuance. Yes, the romance is over, but the thread between them has not been cut to pieces. No nightly texts that reopen wounds, no ambiguous rendezvous. Instead, a mature distance. An openness if needed. The kind of quiet connection that respects history without living in it. The possibility of a clean, adult friendship that doesn't require the approval of a million strangers to exist. And what stands out is not the breakup itself, but the path after. Sila did not cast herself as victim. Halil did not turn ice-cold and revisionist. They stepped back into themselves, she through care and craft, he through discipline and purpose. Perhaps that's why this chapter is so magnetic, because no one erased anyone. Two people found a way to win, not by holding on, but by letting go without bitterness. So the saga that many expected to curdle into tragedy became something else, a maturation, a rite of passage lived in public with uncommon restraint. Sila reintroduced herself as an artist with agency, a woman with a thoughtful, nurturing core and a home that hums with gentleness, sending a message as soft as it is fierce: I'm here, and I'm okay. Halil, meanwhile, reinforced the armor of his professionalism, guarding his private life with quiet resolve and proving that inner balance is its own kind of fame. This wasn't a story of sides. It was a story of closure, no theatrics, no cliffhanger, no promise of a dramatic reunion in Act 3. Just the clear truth that love can do its work, teach what it must, and then release two people back to themselves, both somehow more themselves than before. Thank you for spending this time with us on Secrets Behind the Stars. If this deeper lens offered you a new way to think about endings, less as failure, more as transformation, tell us in the comments. Do you admire their silence, or do you prefer when celebrities break it and explain everything? And don't forget to click join to keep stories like this alive. Until next time, remember, some of the most powerful moves are the quiet ones, the ones you almost miss unless you're listening.